Hi, I wanted to talk just a little bit about uh, a thing that we're going to have when we die. We're going to each have a life review. You've probably heard about it. Anyway, what is a life review? A life review is we're going to see every single thing that we did growing up. Everything from an infant to however old you were when you died. We're going to see everything on a big screen, on a great big huge screen. And the reason we're going to see it is because if God judges us, we might question his judgment, that it's unfair, that he doesn't know what he's talking about. So if we see everything that we did in our life, every good thing we did, every bad thing we did, then we'll know that the judgment that we received for doing deeds throughout our life, we'll know that our judgment was fair and just. In fact, we'll not only see the good and the bad things that we did, we're going to feel them. Every time we hurt somebody, we're going to feel the hurt that we caused another person. We're going to feel the hurt that we caused that other person. And that is not going to be a pleasant thing. On the other hand, the good things that we did are going to make us feel good that we treated our family, our brothers and sisters, friends, spouses, children with love, with honesty, with respect, with kindness, with wisdom. So we're going to have this life review that we're going to not only see everything we did, we're going to feel everything. I've been thinking a little bit about the things that I have done in life that, that weren't good. I think overall that, well, I don't think, I'm not trying to brag, but I think I'm a kind person. And I know that I love people. There's people I don't love, like Hitler, like people that are unfair, people that burglarize other people, people that abuse other people, child abusers, animal abusers, people that are just mean as hell for the fun of it, people that go out and hunt and kill innocent animals for the fun of it, for the sport of it. To be able to go to the taxidermist and mount that head, they can stick it in their family room as a trophy. Those people I don't care for. And it's sad because I have one of my best friends is like that. You go into his house, into his family room, he's got all these taxidermist, whatever you call them, statues, wall mounts, whatever, all over his family room, including a big bear. He went bear hunting a couple of days ago with a couple of relatives, and I said, Gary, I says, that's nice that you can do what you like, but I hope that you don't have a successful time. I said, that's the only thing that you and I part company on. I says, I hope that you don't have a successful time in killing a bear. He says, well, I'm not going to be hunting. The people I go with are going to be doing the hunting this time. His wife feels the same way as I do. When he goes hunting, she says, I hope you're unsuccessful. Anyway, but there's a lot of people I don't care for. But overall, I love people. I have empathy for people. I have sympathy for people. I can project myself into their situation and feel for them. Feel just a small fraction of what that person is going through. Some people in my life have come to me for a little bit of, I don't know, counseling. And I try my hardest to be honest with them and to be loving with them, to be diplomatic with them. But when I look back at my life, when I was, I think when I was about 8 years old, 9 years old, I had a friend that, my best friend at that time lived next door to me. And he was, I think he was like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. He was several years older than I was. And he had a paper out. He had an early morning paper out. And at times in the summer, I used to go with him on his paper route. And it was, like I said, it was an early morning paper route. And at times we go up to a porch and there would be some milk bottles. This is the time, the age, boys and girls, where they used to put milk bottles on the front porch from the local dairies, you know, to the people that ordered milk for the day. So sometimes we go to a porch and there'd be a bottle of milk or a couple of bottles of milk. And so what did good old Rick do? He would say, geez, Ron, I'm thirsty. He'd pop the top off of the bottle of milk and drink it. He'd drink like a quarter of the bottle, or maybe half of it. And he'd burp. He could burp anytime he wanted to, but anyway, he'd drink it and then have a great big burp. And then we'd both laugh. And, you know, he'd put the paper on the porch. We'd both laugh and take off. Now, Was that a nice thing to do to those people that ordered the milk? No, it was a horrible thing. But I was a kid and I didn't know better. I mean, I knew it was wrong, but he made it seem so damn funny that I couldn't help not laugh over it. I mean, I knew it was wrong, but another time we went to, it was on a Saturday. We went to some movie theater or some movies, and because he was a paper boy, he had elastic bands, rubber bands in his pocket, left over from putting rubber bands on the newspapers and throwing them on the porch. So he would have these rubber bands in his pocket, and I remember being up in the balcony, and he would take the rubber bands out of his pocket and aim it at people that were sitting down on the main floor. We'd be up in the balcony, and he would shoot them in the back of the head or on the shoulder with his rubber bands. I kept saying, "Well, Rick, that would hurt. Don't do that. We'll get caught. We'll be thrown out. Oh, don't be a baby. And he would do it anyway, and he'd laugh. And anyway, we got one Saturday afternoon, we got kicked out of three. we got kicked out of 3 theaters. We didn't get kicked out of 1 theater or 2 theaters, 3 theaters. What else did good old Rick do? He bought some popcorn in the balcony, and he threw popcorn down on people's heads. Of course, people, ratted on us. Some manager came and kicked us out of the theater. But he was a bad influence. I guess my point is that my peer group, if you can call it that, he was a bad influence on me growing up. Another thing, and I'll be done. These are the bad things I've done. And he taught me how to do this. We took rocks, little rocks that you could throw a pretty good distance, and we would throw these rocks. We'd try to aim them. We just try to position the rock that when the cars went by, we'd throw the rock, and hopefully the rock would hit the car. Boom. The car would go by and he'd go boom up in the air. All of a sudden the rock would go boop. Sometimes we could hear the rock hit the car. What a stupid game. A couple of juvenile delinquents. Good grief. Those are the worst things I've ever done. Well, when I was young anyway. But talk about being stupid and naive. But he was a bad influence on me. And he was older than I was, and of course he would talk to me about the birds and the bees and this and that and the other. And I mean, he was fun to be with. And I didn't realize that he was such a bad influence on me. But I think I grew up okay. I wasn't friends with him for more than maybe 3 or 4 years until we moved away as a family. But there are things that you do in your life that are wrong. And when you do, and some of these things when you're young, you're a kid, you're stupid. I love animals. I'll go out of my way not to step on an ant. But when I was a kid, I would think it's fun. There'd be all these ants all over the sidewalk. I'd stamp them. I'd stomp on them to see how many flippin' ants I could kill. Or flies. I'd get out the fly swatter and go, and I'd see how many flies I could whack and kill. It was fun. I mean, I had a friend, I told you this before, I had a friend, I never did this, because I knew then, as a boy, that it was damn cruel, and I never did this myself. I swear to God I didn't. I swear to you I didn't. But he used to take some like hairspray or some kind of a spray with alcohol in it or whatever, and he would spray a grasshopper, and as soon as he sprayed it, the grasshopper would go like that, it'd hop, and he'd light a match and light it on fire because it had all this gasoline stuff all over the grasshopper. So he would spray it, and the grasshopper would go like that, and he would light it with a match, and the poor grasshopper was lit on fire, and he would go like that. He laughed his butt off at that. I thought that was so cruel. I said, John, that is so cruel. This is John Smith that I told you I was best friends with in high school. But he thought that was so funny. He just thought that was funny. But, it made me sick, and I told him it did. And then he said, okay, I won't do it anymore. At least with you, Ron. So anyway, at least he committed not to do it around me. But anyway, during the life review, we're going to see everything. We're going to see everything that we did, even things that we forgot that we did. I think to some degree it's going to be fun. Wouldn't you love, at least I would love to see who my friends were when I was 5 years old. I don't remember who my friends were when I was 5 years old. I just don't. I remember some things that when I was 5. I remember my parents. I remember my sisters. But I don't remember my friends. I just don't. I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember their names. And I think it will be fun to see your birthday party when you're 5 or 6 or whatever, and see your friends and how much fun you used to have. I think it'll be fun. I think a lot of the things will be fun. I think it'll be fun to know and see that you said a kind word to somebody. You did a kind deed to somebody. And because you said something, or you made an impression on that person, that later on in that person's life, that life, her life, or his life changed because of something little that you did or you said to that person. Maybe you said something that uplifted that person. Maybe you did something kind to that person, like open a door for that person, and the person thought, oh, that was nice. That was nice of this gentleman to open the door for me. I've got to start being nicer myself, So I think it mushrooms and sometimes, goes the other way. But I think it'll be fun to see the influence, the good for good that you've had in people's lives. And these, for the most part, are going to be things that you never knew. You did a kind deed for somebody. Maybe you pulled over and there's somebody that had their hood up and their car hood up, and they needed, they had a battery problem, so you gave them a jump or whatever. People remember those things. They think about those things. Why did this stranger help me? Maybe sometime in their life, they're going to help somebody else. Why? Because they were helped. They were helped, and they remembered how good they felt when they were helped. And someday they're going to pass that on to someone else. But I think the life review is going to be fascinating. Yes, it's going to be hurtful, knowing the things that you did that hurt people, knowing the things that you have said and done that influence a person in a negative way that you never knew about. For instance, calling somebody ugly and fat in high school. Geez, you have a big nose. Do you put a golf bag on it at night to sleep in the wintertime? To keep warm? You've got such a big nose you could ski down it. I mean, people say the damnedest things in school. They get a kick out of it. They're called bullies, and they still bully today. They not only do it in real life, they do it on the internet. They try to scare the pants off people. They try to put them down. If you call somebody ugly and fat and short, it hurts them. It hurts those people. And their whole life, or some people during their whole life, they're going to remember that and they're going to be hurt. They're not going to have confidence. They're not going to think that they're lovable. Why? Because you were an asshole and you were unfair to that person. That's why. Instead of standing up for that person and telling that person that they have worth, you put them down. If you told them that they had worth and they're a good person, and not to pay any attention to the remarks that some people say to them, and be their friend, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I always root. In Australia, you don't say root. So I'll say barrack. I always barrack for the underdog. The bullfighter, the asshole matador that thinks he's a hero. If he taunts an innocent bull, the bull runs by and trying to get the cape, and the matador sticks a spear into him until he's dead. That's a hero. That's a hero to people. I always barrack for the bull instead of the stupid asshole of a matador. I watch a boxing match. I always hope that the guy that's not as big or as cocky and arrogant as the other person is, I hope the other guy waxes the floor with them. I always root for the underdog. Always. Always barrack for him, I should say. And why shouldn't I? And anyway, that's my 25 minutes for the day, talking about a life review. We're all going to have one. We're all going to have one, and we're going to feel it. We're not only going to see it, we're going to feel it. And we're going to know the influence we had on other people that we were either nice to or an asshole to, we're going to know the influence later on in these people's lives that we said things to. So if you're not prepared and you want some good things in this life review, you better, some of you people, not all of you, but some of you people that are bullies, that kill innocent animals for the fun of it, that aren't kind to your neighbors or your brothers and sisters, like it or not, we're all brothers and sisters of each other. And believe it or not, we have a loving Heavenly Father that loves every one of us, regardless of what we look like, how successful we are, type of car we drive. He loves us. He loves us. Our Heavenly Father cares about who we become. Not as much as what we've done, but who, what kind of a person we've become. After all these years of life, what's really important is who we are now. Remember that. Think about that.